All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing? It's Mike. I am coming to you live for the 171st Timeout Tuesday. And, today I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of a state of affairs, where things are at. We've been open now for in-person classes for several weeks now, about a month, I guess. Maybe a little more if you count the outdoor classes we were doing. Things are going very well. We're able to keep things very safe, very clean. We're able to move people in and out safely. We're going to be making some moves to even do a better job at that now that we've learned a little bit about the dynamics of doing this, which is a little different, of course, than how we did things prior to the pandemic. We've had some new students coming in, which is always great. We haven't really announced that we're open and accepting new students yet. Formally, we haven't resumed doing any kind of reach out to the community about, being available for new members, because we wanted to kind of ease into this. We wanted to make sure that everything was in good shape for our existing members before we started bringing in anybody new, and also because we want to make sure that the experience for everybody, both new members and our existing members and our staff, is a good experience. We don't want to just, go willy-nilly into, opening the doors and seeing what happens. So everything we're going to do under control. We've been continuing to run our Zoom classes pretty much every day that we're at the dojo. And that seems to be something that's valuable for many of our members. We're noticing that certain members, for safety or health reasons, are continuing to stay on the Zoom classes. In some cases, some kids are quarantined, so they need to be on the Zoom classes. And in other cases, we're just finding that people are using it as a way of adding additional classes, even though they may not be able to get their kids to the dojo. And I'm thrilled about that. I'm thrilled that people want to attend as many classes as possible. As you know, that has always been a cultural thing. We want people to come as often as possible. We do not want to restrict people's access to taking classes and progressing through our curriculum. And so, that kind of brings me sort of to the main topic, which is our new and improved schedule, which I've been talking about, I know now, for several weeks. A lot of you probably are having a hard time figuring out why on earth the schedule is not done already. What could be possibly taking so long? Well, I'll tell you what's taking so long. We don't change our schedules often. In fact, prior to the COVID pandemic, other than adding new classes to our schedule, we've not changed our schedule for something like 7-8 years. I don't really know the exact date, but it's been a ridiculous amount of time. And so we don't take it lightly because, first of all, it's been working, and it seems to be working for most people, and most people are able to find many classes throughout the week that they can attend. And in many cases, people have set up their lives around, attending classes and fitting things around our schedule because it's been so constant for so long. So that was part of the problem with changing the schedule. We did make some modifications when we converted over to the online schedule for Zoom. And now that we're back in the dojo, we have some new restrictions with regard to how many people can be on the floor and some stuff that we need to do in between. But most importantly, we really wanted to make sure that we had a gap between all of our classes moving forward. So instead of having everything go back to back, we're scheduling in a 15-minute gap. So between every class, there'll be some time for people to come and go, for the instructors to have conversations with the students, and for the new students to come in, get their uniforms, in order, get their, put their stuff away, and get out on the floor, even stretch out a little bit, which is something that I've always wanted to be able to do. So that's been part of our challenge. That actually is what turns out to be the easy part. As we started looking at the different classes that we offer and the different levels and how we've grouped classes together and what's been working and what we think could be done better, we took a whole bunch of different directions. We actually took this schedule that you guys are the old version of this schedule that you guys are familiar with, and we kind of cast it aside and started all over again. thinking that if we started with a clean slate, we might find some new hidden gems in there. Well, as it turns out, there are still 7 days in the week, and there's still the same amount of time slots that we can do things. So we didn't really find too many hidden gems. In fact, what we really wound up doing was we changed a whole bunch of things around, and we reverted them right back. So really, the new schedule actually is not particularly different. There's 1 or 2 days that flip-flop for certain groups that that might have been previously on a Friday, maybe they're on a Monday or something like that now. But other than that, the schedule pretty much is remaining the same. We've changed our idea for how we're going to handle Saturday classes. We think that this is going to be really good for everybody. And we're going to call this our new interim schedule. We're going to try this out. This is our post-pandemic schedule. We're going to try this out. We'll see how it works. We'll see if there are any real problems with it. And if we have to, of course, we'll fix them. We did add 1 additional class, which we're doing on an experimental basis. We've done that in the past. We've never actually taken anything off the schedule that became an experimental class, but we like to call it experimental in case it's a total wash, we can pull it out. So in any case, over the next couple of days, keep an eye out for the new and improved. I'm not letting you see it yet because there's still some changes that I'm making, but keep an eye out for the new and improved schedule. For the most part, most of what you're going to see is that the classes have been pushed about 15 minutes later in the day, so that to allow for that, to accommodate for that space between classes. That's really it. So anyway, I'm going to leave this with you guys. That keep an eye out for our upcoming schedule. Things are going very nicely with our soft reopening. We're going to continue doing things very carefully. I hope that everyone out there is continuing to do things very carefully. I hope everybody that is able to get vaccinated has done so, and we're heading towards a relaxing of restrictions, which among other things will allow us to have more people in classes without having to do any kind of limiting. So far we've not had to do that. We're able to keep our classes under control just through normal attendance. But that's the goal. The goal is to continue moving in a positive direction. I hope everybody is on board with that. I look forward to seeing everybody at the dojo. Peace to everybody.